Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sunshine Zee and I welcome you if it's your first time here, and a special shout out to all the subscribers. I truly appreciate you. I do hope that you're all doing well and keeping safe. Please don't forget to click on that notifications bell so that you can know every time I post a video. It will notify you of that. Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to actually talk about self-development and what it means to you, because I realized that it might mean different things to different people. So to me, what I think it means is that you are at a certain level in your life, and self-development is your way of getting to the next level. And it's not necessarily monetary, it's not necessarily career, because I think some people might think it's only to do with, you know, earning more money career-wise and things like that. But for me, the word self, like the emphasis is on self. So it's about me developing myself, me investing in learning more things. And it doesn't have to be for a particular reason. It doesn't have to be for a better job. I mean, it's great if it affects me in such a way that I get a better job, but it's not always about that. I think, as you might know from my previous videos, I'm a big believer in never stop learning, and it's good for the brain. The more information you get, and just the more you keep your brain active, studies have shown that it helps with diseases that you get later on in life, like Alzheimer's and diseases like that that affect the brain. So for me, it's not only about what can studying this help me with, it's also just about keeping my brain working and just fresh. And you know, that's why I'm just curious, and I really advise that you stay hungry, you stay curious, and that you try and develop yourself. That being said, I would like you to comment and let me know what self-development means to you. While we're on that topic, I came across something last week that I just thought I should share with you, and maybe also find out what your thoughts are with regards to this, right? So I came across a thread, and it's a guy who's talking about how in his previous romantic relationship he realizes that actually him pushing so hard and trying to attain so much was part of the problem in the relationship. So it was part of what led to the breakdown of the relationship. Now, I don't want to go into relationships in this video, but I don't know, it got me thinking, because he spoke about how it seems that for his partner, it was just enough to have a job that pays you know, not minimum wage, just like, you know, a fair amount of money, have maybe a car, a house, just like ordinary things. This partner was not looking for the high life. This partner was not looking for vacations. This partner was not looking for like extreme success. And I say extreme success as in like what society deems extremely successful. And he says that he wanted those things, and he wanted her to want those things, and he now realizes how unfair that was to their partner. So it got me thinking about this, to say, is it fair for you as a person to want other people to better themselves or to attain a certain standard? Is that fair? Because so for me, it's closely related to self-development, because, for example, you could want your partner to study further, get their MBA, get their, you know, certification in a certain profession, so that they can be more successful, and, you know, so that you guys can live like maybe a much better life. Because I don't know where the scale is in terms of what is a better life, but obviously if you're not living in poverty, you're already living a better life. So is it fair? And I just like I want to take a minute to talk to my gender. Ladies, you know that sometimes we date for potential. I don't know if men do this as well. Maybe some of the men who watch this might let me know. But I know that a lot of ladies, I've had this conversation so many times, we date for potential, right? But the question is, do we ask the person if they want to live out to their fullest potential? Because I feel like we assume that, okay, this person has the potential to become, better than where they are right now. So we try and say, okay, hey babe, how about you do this? How about you do that? And I mean, all of it is good and well. There's nothing wrong with that. The only question, like I'm saying, is what if they don't want that? That's what that guy's thread got me thinking about, is what if your partner does not want that? And how do you even have that conversation? When do you have that conversation? Now, maybe I'll do a whole video about relationships and those kinds of things. But I don't know, I just came across this and thought it's something interesting to share and get you thinking about your own self-development journey, if it's something that you want. Because maybe, I don't know, maybe there's people who don't want to become better. Then again, maybe there's people who think they don't want to become better, maybe are fearful of becoming better, maybe were shamed in their earlier life, that they think, okay, this is enough. Some people were told, listen, you're never going to amount to anything. So whatever they get, they just settle there and they think, okay, you know what, this is the best I'm ever going to get, right? So is it your responsibility, if you meet such a person and you can see that this person is really intelligent, they've got potential, is it your responsibility to help them? And I'm talking about in a relationship or even in a friendship. Actually, even in a friendship, if you meet a friend and that friend has a lot of potential, what do you do with it? Do you encourage it, or do you ask them first if they want to? Because sometimes, I mean, they can take it the wrong way, that you are saying that they could do better. I mean, some people could be like, but I'm fine. And maybe they are. But I just wanted to share that and get you thinking about that. As mentioned, for me, self-development is about learning something new or improving upon my knowledge, or even learning a new skill. So that's our topic for today, which is developing through education. What I mean by developing through education, I'm talking about doing short courses or even advancing your knowledge levels through online courses. And I mean, you could do it also just like by registering for like a full course. You could have a matric and try and get your degree. For me, that's part of self-development. Or you could have a degree and try and get your honors, your masters, your doctorate. There's that academic route that you can take. But personally, my favorite type of way to develop is through online courses and short courses. There are free ones that you can find. A lot of universities offer those. There's Coursera, there's Udemy. I know I'm forgetting some. I think there's one or two others that are very popular that you can get. There's even Google. Google has digital skills currently, digital skills for Africa, that they're offering for free. And there's all sorts of platforms that offer, some of them free, some of them paid for. And personally, I've done a few free ones. I do think that free ones are a lot more difficult to do, simply because you're not paying for them. So you become a bit lazy along the way. It's like I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't managed to finish the free ones unless, there was something that I was trying to get to, or like there was a particular reason that I was doing it. It works better for me if I paid for it, because, when there's money involved, you tend to put a bit more effort. And even when you have to study, you do it because there's money involved, right? So I'm going to be sharing about 2 of the short courses that I've done, and I'll be reviewing them as well. Another fun way that I find very engaging to learn is attending information sessions, attending free seminars, or even just watching TED Talks or podcasts, listening to podcasts. For me, that's a lot more fun than actually having to study something. With TED Talks or even with podcasts, all you have to do is just listen. I mean, you could be washing the dishes and you could listen to that, and I mean, you gain valuable information even through that. So it's not just about studying through a certain platform or an academy, but also just listening to other people, other more knowledgeable people on the subject matter. It could just be you expanding your knowledge through those kinds of things. The first online short course that I did was through the University of Stellenbosch Business School, and there is proof that I actually finished it. So it was in project management. So what had happened was that obviously project management is such a sort of a buzzword that I had heard about a lot, and I was interested in it. In fact, at work they had a training for it, and I did about a week's training in project management, and I found it very interesting. I actually, decided that no, let me get something, because as much as they give you a certificate at work to say you've completed this training, I felt, let me get something a bit more in that. And as I said earlier on, it wasn't necessarily to go into it as a career. I mean, if I had decided to do that, that would have been great, but it was just to know more about it. Hence, I decided to go the short course route. So it was called, the name of the course was called Project Management for Strategic Advantage. And it was an online course, and I'm not going to go into detail about that, but very proud of myself for having completed that. So my experience with the Stellenbosch Business School was very good from an admin perspective. Everything was very smooth. There wasn't any issues with registering for the course. And I mean, back when I did this course, it was really cheap compared to the prices. The pricing right now is quite expensive, I think, in my view. And I think I was very lucky to have found it at the price that I found it at, and they had a discount even. So I decided to just go for it. I used some of my savings to just do this course, and I learned quite a bit. What I liked about it is that it wasn't too technical, so they didn't go too deep in. So it's not something maybe that you should study if you really do want to start a career in project management. Perhaps you might want to go a different route. But if you just want to know a high level, just like know what project management is about, the basics and things like that, then a short course would be good for you to do that. But if you want to actually know the subject matter, go deep in, then perhaps you should do a different course. I don't know how the University of Stellenbosch Business School is now, but as I said, I didn't have any issues then. The only thing for me personally was that it was self-paced, and self-paced is always good. but self-paced is also bad, especially if you don't manage your time very well. You might end up sort of, because there's a period of time that you're given to finish everything. So what they did was, I think it was 6 weeks, I'm not sure, but they gave you the material and you could go through the material at your own pace, which, I mean, as you know, sometimes if you're a procrastinator like me, you say, okay, I'll start next week, because no one is forcing you to start this week. And I think we did have some projects, I can't recall so well, but I know that there was also a final big project, which was like the exam, which determined whether you passed the course or not, right? But yeah, so maybe if you're not good at time management, or you procrastinate, self-paced courses are not the greatest route to go. Like I'm saying, for me, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. So it's a good thing because there's not a lot of pressure, but it's a bad thing because I'm not so great at actually sitting down and getting everything done. So what ended up happening was that probably in the last 2 weeks of the course, that's when I tried to cram all the work in, and I mean that wasn't a good strategy. Thankfully I still passed, but I probably could have done better had I managed my time better. So I think that the project management course that I did is still relevant in my life today. As much as I'm not in that career, I still apply it, and I feel like project management skills are skills that you can apply in your small business, in whether you're planning something, you're still applying that knowledge. So I really, it's something that I'm glad that I did. Perhaps one day I can go into it as a career, I don't know, but I have something, I have the foundation, and yeah, I don't regret it. I'm actually quite glad that I did that course. After that, I actually did do, it wasn't a short course, but it was, I studied for a particular exam, for a particular certification, which, I don't know, I dropped it along the way, but I did pass the exam, and yeah, so I wrote that exam in January of 2019, and that's the CISA exam. I'll include some information about it. So yes, I did that in 2019, and then in 2020 I decided to go a very different route, and I decided to do a short course with UCT through Get Smarter. I hope you are familiar with the Get Smarter platform, and one tip that I can give you is that if you bank with Capitec, I'm actually advertising for these people, but anyways, if you bank with Capitec, you actually get a discount on Get Smart courses. So that's sort of what led me to this. I really wanted to do another short course. As I mentioned, I really do want to keep learning different things, and just I don't know, like maybe one day I think I probably will do another degree or whatever, but in the meantime, short courses are my go-to. If I had a lot of money, I probably would have done so many by now. So in 2020 I decided to do something different, which was a short course in digital marketing, and it was quite interesting, but I'm very proud of myself for having achieved that goal. So the difference here was that it was not self-paced. So as mentioned with USB, it was very relaxed, and I think I started this particular course with that same mindset, and boy was I wrong. With this course, actually, if you're interested in doing any course with UCT through Get Smarter, be prepared. Like, they take their courses very seriously, in the sense that every week you had assignments, every week. You had and the information, so they didn't release all the information at once. What they did is that they released week one's information, let's say on a Monday, and then you had the whole week to go through the course and the theory, and I mean, they gave you everything. What I love also about short courses is that it's not a lot of times that you have to buy the material. There are recommended books that you could buy, but I did both my short courses without buying the recommended material, because they provide the material for you. So if necessary, I would print the material if I needed to study, but I mean, you can just read it off your computer and you'll still be fine. What is important is for you to understand what the course is about, or what that particular module is about. And my favorite thing about the UCT one, so my least favorite thing about the UCT one was just how hectic it was. It was quite a lot more work than I had anticipated. So it's not a free sailing kind of a short course. You really need to put in the hours. So if they say you need to put in 10 hours per week, they mean it. It really, sometimes actually is more than that, because it depends on how much you are grasping. And I mean, I was new to marketing in general, and this was digital marketing, so I found myself having to reread the material, because it was something that was very new to me. So I took a bit longer than perhaps somebody who had a bit of knowledge of it. And so that was the tough part for me. That was the challenging part for me, was that it wasn't self-paced, and it was quite a lot of work. It was a lot more than I had anticipated, right? So, but one of my favorite things was that there was a community. So as soon as you get access to the platform, you go into the platform, and that's where you access the material, the learning materials and the assignments. And they use very different ways. They use videos, and they use real life scenarios. I really enjoyed this course, to be honest, because they made it just so realistic and so relevant. And then there were forums that we had. Now at USB there were forums as well, and guys, I don't mean to compare, because I feel like I did USB so long ago, and I think they were still starting, so they might be very different now. So don't go based on what I'm saying, because that was 2017. Now I'm talking about UCT in 2020. And as I'm saying, their forums were very interactive. I don't know if it was just for this course, but I learned so much. I looked forward to going into the forums and discussing and hearing what other people had to say. And even for every module, they would ask questions and advise that you go to the forum and discuss. So I found it had a lot more of a community feel. I felt like, even if it's online, I still felt like I had classmates, and I mean, there's usernames that you started getting to know, that, oh, this person is always commenting, or that person is always has something to say. And also what's interesting about it is that, because with these courses they offered worldwide, you could have people in the class who are from America, or just from other parts of the world. I just remember that we had quite a number of students from America, and I guess it tells you a lot about how reputable the Get Smarter courses are. I can't recall anywhere else except in Africa. I think we had students from Botswana, Zambia, and just all over Africa as well. And yeah, I just enjoyed the community that we had, and the conversations. And as I said, I learned quite a bit from the conversations that we're having in the forums. I really enjoyed the examples, the real life examples. And yeah, it was really just, it was challenging, but in a good way. It took me out of my comfort zone. I mean, guys, I had to create my own website and things like that. It was really real life, practical stuff. If they were teaching you about Facebook advertising, they wanted you to actually create an advert on Facebook, like an actual advert. So it was really, really practical, and I enjoyed that element of it. And it's just unfortunate it happened. I started right before lockdown, and we finished, it was a 10-week course, and we finished in May. We started in, I think, end of Feb, and we finished in May. And just unfortunately, by the time I got this, it was really late in the year, like November, December, that I got my certificate finally. So it took long, but it was because of everything that had been going on with the lockdown, and they were not able to deliver the certificates. They could always give you something digitally, but it always feels better to have the real thing in your hand to make you to make you feel good about yourself, to say, yes, I did this, I completed this course. So that was my experience with the 2 short courses that I did online. I would do them again anytime. If anyone is willing to sponsor me, I'm sure I have 4 or so that I have my eye on. I just need the funds to do them, and I really enjoy them. And as I said, for me, that's part of my journey with self-development. Obviously, doing other things, reading, like I said, listening to particular podcasts or TED Talks is another way of developing myself and increasing my knowledge. I really recommend that if you can, you should consider doing a short course. For my random fact this week, I'm going to talk about phobias. So last week I spoke about the fears that we have, but there's actual real fears such as phobias. And I don't know how you actually know if it's a phobia or if it's just something that you fear. For example, I'm not a fan of spiders, but I wouldn't say that it's a phobia, because as much as they freak me out, and I don't like killing them, and I don't like seeing them, or actually snakes as well. There's a lot of things that I fear, but like I'm saying, I don't know if it's actually a phobia. But I did come across, and quite by accident really, a phobia that I know is a phobia because of just how I feel. Now, I think it's an interesting phobia because I don't think you know that it's a phobia until you accidentally come across it, and it's called trypophobia, right? And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to, I'll spell it for you, but I'm not going to be able to put pictures or anything of what it is. I'm not even going to go into detail about what it is. Do your own little research on this one. And simply because it's one of those things that, like I said, you don't know you have it until you come across the pictures. And I found myself a few days ago scrolling on social media, as we all do, and somebody had posted pictures of, when you find out what it is, you'll understand. And I found it very insensitive, because the person was saying that, I think the caption was something about, sort of trying to trigger people who have this. But I mean, when you have this, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's really, it makes your skin crawl, and it's not pleasant to see at all. Like, I'm actually, please, if you go and Google this, just be careful, because when you see it and it makes you feel some type of way, you're not going to appreciate that I shared this with you. But I just thought it would just be an interesting random fact that I can share about myself, to say that I definitely do have this phobia. And I had seen pictures of this, like a long time ago, and I remember how they creeped me out, and I didn't know how to explain how I felt about those pictures. I just knew that I didn't like seeing it, and I knew it made me feel very uncomfortable. So then I think a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, I read that, I think it's one of the Kardashians, I'm not sure which one, but what I think is it, I'm not sure if it's Kylie or Kendall, but one of the Jenners, I believe, I'm not sure, but anyways, one of them had been said to have it, right? So I was like, what is that? You know, these phobias, they have such difficult names to pronounce, and I was like, what is that? And I googled it, and that's when I realized I have it too. And like I said, a few days ago, I'm busy scrolling and somebody put up those pictures, and I felt that was really insensitive, because it's not nice. It's really not nice. Anyways, enough about that. I hope it didn't freak you out too much. If you've already googled it, if you're still going to google it, I'm sorry if it does freak you out. But I appreciate that you've watched this video until the very end. The rules in this family are that if you do not like, then you must comment, and if you want to make my day, do both. And give me feedback, keep engaged, and I really value your feedback, especially as subscribers. I appreciate what you have to say. I find it very valuable when you give me pointers, or even just feedback on the video, what you thought about it and how it made you feel. So please, I encourage you to keep doing that. Until the next video, please take care and keep well. Love and light to you all.